Hey guys, Scott Poley here. I'm a session guitarist, pedal steel player. I also produce and write music, and I'm delighted to be here for Sound Effects Music to talk about this brand new PRS Silver Sky SE model. PRS have finally got around to releasing a budget version of the infamous PRS John Mayer model, the Silver Sky. So, in this video, we're going to go and check out this guitar, have a look at some of the sounds. There is another video on the channel which compares this to a full Silver Sky model with, that's 3 times the price of this. So if you want to go and check that out, it's in the top right hand corner of your screen right now. But first, let's kind of break it down and have a look at some of the sounds of this, and then I'll take you briefly through the features, and the other video is a lot more detailed on that. So firstly, it's an S-style guitar, Strat-style guitar. Let's not mince our words here. It's a great guitar as well. It's a pleasure to play. Let's have a look at it. We've got the 635 JMS pickups in this guitar. So we've got neck and middle, middle and bridge. The one thing with this guitar is we have a tone control on the bridge pickup, which is great. So let's have a look at the sounds. Neck pickup. Gonna add some more drive to that. So great neck pickup sound, that, love it. And we've got the tone control on the neck as well, so we can do some kind of jazzier stuff. Yeah, great, love that. Neck and middle, clean sound. Now in the piece you heard at the beginning, there is actually a full song that is on my own YouTube channel of that song as well, but the riff in the intro of the song that I wrote goes like this. It's kind of a Wind Cries Mary kind of sound for the Jimi Hendrix thing with the neck and middle. And that's making the most of these pickups. They've got a beautiful, beautiful kind of scooped mid-range sound to them. It's a great sound. Let's put a bit of gain on it. Great, love the sound of that. Middle pickup. guess who was listening to Steve Cropper and some Stack stuff this morning. You know, let's do some bluesy stuff on it. Warts and all there. But yeah, great sounding pickup. I mean, this is we all love to chop and change pickups and say, oh, it's a budget guitar, let's just get the pickup straight out and put, you know, Seymour Duncans in there, or Lollas or Cream Teas or whatever. But these are great from stock. You've no need to change anything. And also, despite it being the SE model, we'll get into the specs and stuff in a minute, but obviously the electronics are going to not be quite up to the standard of a much more expensive PRS. But last time I checked, these pots are, you know, really good quality. The switch is great. Neck and bridge pickups. Let's have a listen to that. Let's add some gain to that. You know, it's a great sounding combination, that. I don't know exactly, remember which pickup John Mayer used on the Last Train Home solo, but I think if you add a little bit of light chorus and a bit of drive, this at least gets you some of the way there. Go on all day. This guitar plays like a dream, guys. Seriously, it is brilliant. I mean, yeah, it's brilliant. Bridge pickup. It's bright. I mean, you know, it is. All bridge pickups are bright. This is a bright bridge pickup. Play some country on One of my tunes called Night Terrors. But the one thing that's great about this guitar, like I said before, is the bridge pickup has a tone control. Why is that different, I hear you ask, Scott? Well, most Fenders have a tone control for the neck and the middle pickups, but not one for the bridge. And that means you can't adjust that and knock down the treble at all. So, for instance, if I had some gain, here's the full tone up. You know, that could shave your eyebrows off. If I knock that tone control down about halfway, it gives you much more pleasing top end. Now, one thing I always tell people to do is you can put a little link wire under the switch so the middle and the bridge share their tone control, or add another pot for that. It's great that that is a feature as standard on this guitar. Now let's have a look at the features. There is another full video on the Sound Effects channel comparing the SE to this, which is a fully spec'd, full whack, PRS American Silver Sky. The main difference, of course, being that this guitar is 3 times as more expensive as this. If you want to know all the details about the comparison between these two and why I think this is such good value as well, go and check that video out. It's linked in the top right-hand corner now. And also, while you're checking that out, I would love it if you would consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel. There's loads of great content on the Sound Effects channel. There's a great guitar player called Tom Quayle, does a load of demos. And they've got loads of exciting videos coming up as well. So yeah, go and check them out. Like them, give them the channel a subscribe, and ring the bell icon. It will let you know when they release new videos. So let's have a look at some of the features. Firstly, the colour. It's, what do they call it? Dragon fruit, this one. Dragon fruit. It's pink, innit? But yeah, it's a pink guitar. But let's face it, John Mayer's been using a kind of pink coloured Silver Sky for Last Train Home recently. And, it's a great looking guitar, this. The SEs don't have the same metallic finish as the more expensive Silver Skies. They're kind of solid colour finishes, but the finish, as usual with PRS, is superb quality. Compared to the more expensive PRS model, this SE actually does have an advantage in that it comes with a backplate, which is quite cool. You can see it on this little camera here. The more expensive model doesn't have a tremolo cover. Of course, a lot of guitarists just take these off and they can have easier access to the tremolo cavity and stuff like that. But, whatever, you can easily take this off with 4 screws, or if you want to hide it, great, happy days. While we're here, let's talk about this, which is the neck heel on both this and the more expensive Silver Sky as well. They're sculpted really nicely. A lot of Fenders have this kind of squared off thing, and when you go up to the top end of the fingerboard, you end up digging into your hand. Whereas with this, and as well the scoop here, it feels more scooped out than some of the Fenders to me. It's great. It's super comfy all the way up to playing, in the A position up here. I've got big hands as well, and it's great. That's a really cool feature, and you can quite easily get up to the 22nd fret, and it's usable, of course. The guitar has 22 frets, which is great. The inlays on this guitar are really pretty as well. Check this out. They're the bird inlays on, as featured on a lot of PRS guitars, but they're smaller. Not a big deal, but they look really nice, and they're exquisitely fitted on this SE model as well. A couple of other cool features on this as well, coming up to the top. We've got this reverse PRS headstock that John Mayer came up with. Normal PRS is like this flipped, but it's really cool that it comes out there, and you've got the 3-a-side tuners as well. So tuners, they're not locking tuners on this, they're just a standard tuner, but it's fine, they do the job, and I've been playing this all day and they stay in tune perfectly, which is a great thing. In terms of the build, it's a poplar body on this, the wood, and it sustains beautifully. I mean, go into the neck pickup here. This feels, it just feels like a great quality Super Pro guitar. The guitar has a 2-piece maple neck. I'm going to show you it in this little camera here so you can see the neck joint is just there, but it's beautifully done. PRS have done a fantastic design on that. And this guitar does have a rosewood fingerboard. There's been lots of issues with getting rosewood recently, but obviously PRS have worked this out, and it's a beautiful piece of rosewood as well. Well done, PRS. This is fantastic. Now, while we're on the fingerboard, there's been a lot of talk about the radius of this changing. This is a slightly flatter fingerboard radius than the regular Silver Skies. It's a little bit more of a modern profile. It's an 8.5-inch radius, so a fingerboard radius, for those of you who don't know a lot about that stuff, which I certainly didn't when I was starting to play guitar, is although the fretboard looks flat, it's actually curved just slightly on some guitars or a lot more on others. A vintage Fender might be about 7.5, 7.25 inch radius, or something like an acoustic guitar is a lot more like that, like a 10 inch or, more than 10 inches, so, a flatter radius. This is a slightly flatter radius than the more expensive Silver Sky, but it feels really comfy, and it's actually possibly even comfier to do some bar chords, for instance. It's lovely. It feels super comfy. It doesn't feel that much different than the other one. The neck is finished as well in this kind of satin finish, and you can actually hear it because it's a brand new guitar. It's a complete satin finish, which is great if you're going to be doing lots of gigging with this guitar, or you're going to be doing lots of recording, that kind of thing. Then having a satin finish, if you get sweaty, it's not going to. A lot of the kind of more heavy gloss finishes on the back of a neck go kind of goopy feeling, or people sort of feel like peanut butter or something like that. That you won't get that with this, and it's just going to play in and feel like an old friend very quickly. It's an awesome neck. Talked about the frets before. 22 frets, so we can get up to a high E. Very nice. And the frets are slightly smaller than the full-on Silver Sky, but they're super comfy and plenty of room in that if you need to have the frets dressed after you've played them in a whole bunch. The nut is a synthetic bone nut, which is obviously a cost saving over a full bone nut, but it is cut really well. It's installed slightly differently, and it's much a wider nut than the traditional Silver Sky, but a lot of guitars these days, the nuts are not finished well. But yeah, this is really good, and it's got a little bit of fall away, which means that the strings, it has one very small point, so the intonation is really good. It's set up brilliantly. Things like the frets as well on this guitar are finished perfectly. Well done, PRS. No high frets, nothing. It's a guitar built for playing this, for sure. Unlike the more expensive PRSs, this has a 2-point tremolo system. The more expensive one has 6 screws, so it looks more like vintage Fender thing. But does that matter? No, is the answer to that. This is a really great, it still has the vintage style saddles. It looks awesome, and it apparently plays in tune. Now, I would love to tell you all about that, but as this is a retail guitar, it's going to go off to a buyer, and they're going to get to open all the case candy, including the tremolo arm. One thing I can tell you about the tremolo arm, however, is it's a push-in tremolo system, and it has a nice little rubber bushing as well, so you're not going to have all the issues that you do with some Fenders where the tremolo arm moves around in the socket and you have to put a little bit of plumbers or PTFE tape around. You don't have any of that. It just pushes in. Nice little neat design. PRS, when they built these guitars, basically took all the best things about old Strats and refined them, and it really is showing as well on this more budget model, and that's a big thing for PRS to do, is they've brought a lot of the features from a more expensive guitar, and they have brought them to this more budget friendly. They've not skimped on the details here. The pickups sound great, the hardware's solid, the tuners are great. All the things that you would think on a more budget guitar, I might potentially have to replace that if I'm going to be playing it a lot. No, this is solid. It's a great instrument. It's got the aesthetic, and it's got the build quality to match. It comes with a gig bag as well, which, if you're doing loads of little gigs and rehearsals or something like that, is great. If you want to upgrade to a hard case, you certainly could do that. But the PRS gig bags are good quality and that kind of thing. They come, of course, with the tremolo arm, and you've got the truss rod adjuster and the Allen key for the bridge. It's also a super versatile guitar, this as well. So if you wanted to play different styles of music on it, and you don't even care who John Mayer is, no worries. It's brilliant. It comes in a bunch of different finishes. So if you don't like, what was it called? Dragon fruit pink. Then, absolutely fine. Thanks so much for watching, folks. If you've got this far, we really appreciate you sticking around and checking out all the features of this brand new, really great guitar. There is, like I said, the other video going a bit deeper on the specs and comparing it to a full American-made Silver Sky, also on this channel. I'm going to link it in the top right-hand corner in the description as well. So go and check that out. Thanks so much for watching. I'd love it if you would subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you next time.